Finishing the quest, I see. You've made a wise choice, friend. With the land of Holodrum safe, and the Oracle of Seasons back into the world, all is well. You can take some time to explore the land and see the fruits of your labor. You might even encounter some oddities, but overall the story of Holodrum seems to be at a close. With that, you can learn a secret of the land. If you ever forget it, you can speak the furor inside the Maku tree to see it again, along with a notebook that holds a lot of potential. Speaking that secret aloud will transport Link to a new land. Link gets whisked away as the Triforce's quest is not over, and the land of Hyrule is still in danger. In a swirl of magical energy, Link awakens in an unfamiliar meadow. Weakened by the trip and with no items to speak of, Link now sets foot in a strange new land. What mystery will he find here? Something definitely feels wrong. Link isn't quite able to pin it, but it's almost as if the flow of time has a hint of sorrow, like a sense of ever-looming dread. You can't hesitate now. The adventure continues. Right off the rip, the biggest and most important secret you can get is the one that even allows you to start the second quest. Whatever game you're transferring out of. Back in the day, you could just use a link cable and transfer over pretty easily, assuming, of course, you had 2 Game Boy Colors and the link cable. If you didn't, well, time to bust out that pen and paper and get to writing down some passwords. The secret to Labrynna or Holodrum is the longest one by far in terms of lengthy passwords. It's not all that bad, really. Honestly, I think Golden Sun still holds the record for long as hell password, if you went for the gold version of that password anyway. The next longest, and more than likely the more important one out of all of the secrets you can get, is the ring secret. For that, you're going to want to talk with the red snake in Vasu's shop. Make sure to say you want the secret and not that you want to tell a secret. You'll get it, I believe in you. Either you'll get that ring secret, or you'll get put into an input screen. Either way, once you have it figured out, you'll be good to go. You can start up in whatever second quest you're looking to do, and once you have access to Vasu in his shop, and you speak with him and get that ring box, talk with that red snake again, and this time go to the input ring secret. All the rings from your last adventure will wind up here to be used, and depending on the game you played and how many rings you bothered to grab, you're going to be in a much better spot overall for exploring these lands. With that out of the way, one of the more important things to keep an eye out for in this series of events is the secret system. If you keep an eye out, you can find some NPCs that don't quite belong, if that makes any sense. Every so often, you can and will see characters popped in from Holodrum. You will definitely see some familiar faces. Some are more helpful than others in the immediate. I say that because some of those who aren't quite that helpful right away give you hints to get things that do matter in the end. If you do decide to do this, you're going to have a lot of back and forth action going from Holodrum to Labrynna and back again. When you do find one of those NPCs, they're going to give you a secret to hold on to and tell to someone in either Holodrum or Labrynna, depending on what game you're coming from. These vary in terms of rewards, from an extra heart container, a ring box upgrade, seed satchel upgrades, and even the Master Sword, to some things that aren't as helpful, like bomb shoes. Not super good here. The general flow goes something like this. Who's that person? Talk with them, and they say some stuff about who/what they are and where they came from. They will recognize Link and ask for a favor. They'll give you the name of another NPC or location and where to find them. Then they give you a short, jumbled up mess of a password, then task you with relaying that secret to that person. Honestly, that's kind of neat. Even outside of the upgrades and stuff, the game just asks you to go back to whatever game you just finished in order to find that person and give them a secret. Should you take on this optional quest and you forget the secrets you're supposed to relay, you can always speak with Furor and see her notebook. It will contain all the secrets you've heard and the relationship it has in terms of who to give it to. Back in the day, you would have had to write things like this down on a scrap of paper or maybe a notebook, or God forbid you use the manual to do it. Once you get more than a few of these secrets piled up, it's time to get them sorted out. So save and quit then boot up the other game and hunt down the people you need to find. Talk with them and tell them the secret you were told, and boom! Easy as that. You got a new item to play with in this game. Sometimes you need to do a mini game to get the item. They're not all that bad, really. But hey, once you get that item, that same NPC will tell you another secret, and that is the one you want. That secret will allow you to acquire that item in your second quest game. You can repeat this process as many times as you want until you claim all the secret items. Once you have this wealth of information, speak with Furore in the Maku tree. She will ask if you know a secret that travels through time. This honestly has nothing to do with Oracle of Ages, by the way. She says the same thing in Oracle of Seasons. If you have done this, and speak those secrets to Furore, she will magic up that item for you to use in this second quest. A super fun and unique way to get more replay value out of your games, assuming of course you had both, and you also knew about this back then. I feel like it's somewhat common knowledge now, especially among the player base, but back then this was the stuff schoolyard rumors were made of. Almost along the same lines as finding Mew in a truck or playing as Luigi in Mario 64. Everyone knew something, and nothing seemed out of the realm of possibility. Imagine being told that your friend found the Master Sword in the secret woods of Tarm Ruins, and you thought that was just odd because when you went there, all you got was the Noble Sword. Makes you want to jump back in and find it yourself, right? Link awakens in a new land, weak from the travel, and somewhere along the lines losing all of his items. Stepping forward, you encounter Impa. She got here before you because she left Holodrum after Din was saved on an urgent matter from Princess Zelda. But she seems, I don't know, a bit off, and weirdly surrounded by Octoroks. She could have easily defeated them, but I mean, they run off after seeing you and the light of the Triforce on your hand. Impa then asks to join you, but it's odd. She should know you, and that she doesn't really need to ask for permission. Anyway, you press on. After a bit of time, you find a strange rock that has a Triforce segment on it. Impa weirdly backs away from it and asks you to move it. Once it's moved, Impa rejoins you, and the two of you move on together. You hear the faint sounds of a song being sung. As you get closer, you find that a young woman is singing to the forest creatures, and some guy in a wizard-like hat? I don't know. The animals eventually make room for you to sit and listen. She stops her song and introduces herself as Nayru, and the guy next to her is named Ralph. They received word that Hyruleans were on the way to the land of Labrynna from a messenger bird sent by Zelda herself. It's at this point that Impa is revealed to have been possessed by something, and this entity could not have moved the barrier stone on their own. Varen reveals herself, and within an instant takes over Nayru's body, just like she did to Impa. Immediately, Varen opens a portal and travels to the past with Nayru's time powers. The land begins to shift, and people change, turn to stone. Even the animals aren't safe, as they vanish from history. Ralph takes on the responsibility to rescue Nayru and sets off. Impa awakens and gives you a shield. She asks you to speak with the Maku tree and to seek out a way to stop Varen. Link, fresh off his quest in Holodrum, has just found himself once again on a quest to save yet another land. Stepping into the lands of Labrynna feels familiar, and yet like you've never really been here before. How odd. Speaking with the Maku tree is easy enough, though once you begin to talk, she also is seemingly destroyed. Entering that same time portal that Varen opened, you're sent back in time, and you encounter the Maku sapling. She was destroyed, taken out by these moblins. Saving her here allows her to exist again in the present day. After rescuing her, she puts the moves on Link, and with that, well, you travel back to the present time. Once you're back in the present, and you visit the Maku tree again, she, of course, puts more moves on Link, and asks you to track down the 8 essences of time, each taking on the symbolism of time and its passing. Things that remain resolute despite time. Things that have been used throughout all of time to mark it. All of these ideas of what time is in relative terms to humanity, each one found restores more power to the Maku tree. After claiming the first essence, you have to find ways of your own to travel through time, as that second dungeon collapses in on itself. Returning to Nayru's home, you can find her Harp of Ages. This will allow Link to travel time on time portal tiles, like the one that Varen opened. As the quest continues, you can and will need to find other ways to travel through time a little more easily, as some of the spots you can't really get to otherwise. With each new essence obtained and new items gathered, the land of Labrynna opens up, in both the present and the past. You might even see a few familiar faces along the way. After dealing with a few dungeons, you find out that Zelda has made her way to Labrynna. Impa tells you that her traveling party was attacked and Zelda was kidnapped and was somehow taken to the Black Tower. The Black Tower. Varen has been manipulating the Queen of Labrynna to build it, and build it quickly. Originally, it was meant to serve as a lighthouse for the Queen's long-lost love, but that idea has been twisted into something grotesque. It now serves as a monolith to sorrow. The people in Queen Ambi's time work non-stop without rest due to Varen using Nayru's power. Stopping time so there is no night, no weekend, no time off of anything. Zelda is in that tower now. Link enters, and after a while is able to rescue Zelda. A rare thing that Zelda could be rescued so easily. Last time Link saved her, it was quite the ordeal. The reason Zelda shows up to this land at all is because she could feel an evil power growing out of control, and she wanted to try and help the people of her kingdom in any way that she could. She spends time working with the townsfolk of the present day to provide relief from the heavy weight of sorrow that seems to hang in the air. You can find her at Nayru's home with Impa for the time being. The quest never stops, though. Time hopping from present to past and past to present, islands change, the lands shift and warp, towns long forgotten, given new life. Along the way you find your animal companion from Holodrum. They're happy to see you and offer to help in any way they can. Dungeon after dungeon, you claim more and more essences of time. Planning with the Maku tree, you get a horrible vision. The twin Garuda witches, Kotake and Kaume, make their plans known. Time is running out, and the Black Tower is almost complete. You go back in time to try and rescue Nayru. You get a tip that the castle guard is low, as the queen stepped out with a contingent of her guard. You sneak into the palace and confront Varen. After a fairly clever battle using mystery seeds and the switch hook, you prevail, and Nayru is saved. Varen is forced to retreat until Queen Ambi returns. She gets taken over by Varen instead of Nayru. Varen, now in command of the whole kingdom of Labrynna, doubles down on her building of the tower. Ambi is remembered in the history books as one of the cruelest queens in history. With some quick thinking, Nayru is able to get everybody back to present time, and she leaves to go home and be with Impa and Zelda. Before doing this, however, she teaches you the Tune of Ages, allowing Link to travel back and forth through time as he pleases. Armed with this new magical ability and determined as ever, Link sets out one last time to finish the quest. After gaining all the essences, Link returns to the Maku tree, who then gives him a seed. This seed will allow Link to break past the magic in the Black Tower. Unfortunately, Kotake and Kaume appear again, and reveal that they plan on taking Princess Zelda. She will be the last sacrifice to plunge the land of Hyrule, Holodrum, and Labrynna into despair. They are already successful in lighting the flames of destruction thanks to General Onox and Holodrum, and along the way, so much sorrow was built up in Labrynna despite your efforts and the help from Princess Zelda, that Varen was able to light the flame of sorrow. So the witches are one sacrifice away from their goal of resurrecting Ganon. They plan to kill Zelda, using her loss to light the flame of despair, and with that sacrifice to Ganon, they will bring him back from the dead, stronger than ever. All the cards are on the table now. Link travels back to old Labrynna and climbs the tower. Eventually, he encounters Ralph again. Over the course of the adventure, he changed from being hot-headed and arrogant to more level, willing to make a sacrifice of his own if it means he can protect the ones he loves most. He planned on killing Ambi, his ancestor, and in doing that, erasing himself from existence. Varen, though, must have been feeling somewhat charitable, as she didn't kill him. Not yet, anyway. Link takes over the fight, and using a familiar tactic to the previous encounter with Varen, he forces her out of the Queen. Ambi is shocked to see what has happened and leaves after Link stares her down with a sense of urgency. Varen then tries to capture Link, but is unsuccessful. The real fight happens now. A back-and-forth battle between them rages as the tower starts to crumble away. Link is able to defeat Varen again, and once more, after she reveals her ultimate form. Link, after being saved by Ralph and Nayru, encounters Queen Ambi outside the tower. She arrives with palace guards to help, but Link is no pushover. Impa then arrives with the dire news that Zelda has been taken while Link was off dealing with Varin. After arriving at the Maku Tree, Link is teleported to where Kotake and Kaume are. The twins combine their strength and transform into Twinrova. Bouncing magic of opposing elements is the key to this fight. After hitting Twinrova with enough of her own magic, she is defeated, but not before sacrificing themselves as the last resort. They couldn't kill Zelda, but the people of the land were already in a torrent of despair because of all the chaos that has been wrought. Ganon is revived. But it isn't right. Because the means of his revival were altered at the last minute, he is incomplete. Ganon is still powerful, very much so, but he is mindless. Just a crazed beast that, if not stopped, could bury the world in darkness. Nothing would be left standing in this mindless beast's wake. Ganon must be stopped. Weary from all the back-to-back fights, Link struggles, but with the aid of the oracles, Din and Nayru, he is able to summon up the courage and strength to persevere. Ganon is well and truly defeated now. Body broken, mind flayed, and spirit destroyed, Link managed to save the day. Link is given a hero's tribute in the lands of Holodrum and Labrynna. Statues in his image can be found in town and next to the Maku Tree across all ages. A large party was held. Din and Nayru finally safe, Zelda back in Hyrule Castle, and Ralph learning all he can from Link. After spending some time relaxing, though, Link decides it's finally time to set off onto his next journey. Boarding a boat and setting out to sea, where will this next adventure take him? With any luck, it'll be a dream compared to what he just went through. So here we really are at the real end of these two games, or at least one of the possible ends. There is another story that unfolds if you start your quest on Oracle of Ages first. That said, it's not all that different. Still though, it's quite the undertaking if you decide to do that. Would that give you the most value out of these games? Sure. But I don't know that I would recommend it, at least not in the way that I did it. If you do decide to play both games, twice, like I did, I would suggest taking a sizable break in between them. Otherwise, it's a fun set of games to bounce between. Oh, and if you do decide to do that, you will get the last secret in the game. The Hero's Quest secret. I won't spoil that for you here, but there is a pretty solid reward for going through all of the hassle. Have some fun with that. I haven't played these games in a long time. I think it's easily been over 15, maybe even 20 years. They are games that I think were as ambitious as they could have been given what they were developed on. Even more so that they were made by Capcom, sort of. These were just a pair of games that, if you can believe it, tried to be even more ambitious than they actually were, as a set of 3 games that devolved into just a pair, but a pair of games that continue to be some of the better 2D Zelda games that exist. Are they as good as Link's Awakening? Maybe not. There are some places where these games fall a bit short, the sound being a large talking point. Some other ways, though, these games can be better. The creativity on display and the choices made to interact between the two is just something else. Something that we really haven't seen outside of something like Pokemon, and even then, that's just limited to trading monsters back and forth. The only other thing that comes close to this type of idea comes from Resident Evil 2 and its zapping system, which, that is a whole thing. But that was a Capcom game, so I can see how and why that came to be in these two games. Overall, I'd say that I liked my time spent here. Bouncing between Holodrum and Labrynna was fun, and I enjoyed the different gameplay focuses between them. Whether you start in Seasons or in Ages, I would recommend following up in the sister title. How you do that is up to you, but at the very least, it's worth the experiment. Thanks for sticking with it. If you want, check out the other set of videos, starting with Ages and working through to Seasons. Well, at the end card proper now. Thanks for hanging with me on this long series of videos. I wanted to try and do something new and fun for this, and the idea of nested videos made the most sense. Like a sort of choose-your-own-adventure type of thing. I think it turned out pretty well, but I might be a little biased. The next set of videos won't take nearly as long to make, as I won't have to play the same game 86,000 times, and I won't be making videos like these for quite some time. Next up on the block in the Zelda retrospective will be the 2 N64 games, so get ready for those, yeah? In the meantime, check out some of these videos if you'd like, and on that subject, go ahead and do me a favor. Hit that like and sub buttons for me, yeah? Oh, and also share these around, as they took forever to make, and it would be super sick to see some solid return on all the time spent. But, you know, only if you feel like being extra cool. Alright then. Until next time, keep it clean out there.